Welcome to Off the Bench. My name is Heidi St. John, and I'm thrilled today to have my friend Rey Reynolds in the studio with me. You guys know Rey. He's been on the show before. Rey is running for sheriff right now in Clark County, Washington. And today we're going to talk about why it matters that you know who your sheriff is and why we cannot stay on the sidelines. Stick around. I think you're going to be encouraged. All right, you guys, so welcome to the podcast. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I'm glad that you're here. I have the very special honor today of having a very long time and trusted friend in the studio. Rey Reynolds is here. Rey has been just a champion for families and for law enforcement here in Clark County, Washington for a long time. And we've gotten to know each other over the years. And he has become just a trusted friend. He and his wife, Kathy, have prayed with Jay and I over the years. And now I have the privilege of supporting him as he runs to be the chief law enforcement officer here in Clark County. And we're going to tackle a lot of issues today. We want you to know why it's so important that you elect a good sheriff, why it matters constitutionally, why the family matters.
Yes.
And we're going to tackle all that stuff today. Rey.
Heidi, thank you. And hello, everybody. This is a wonderful time. This is a hopeful time. I know it seems a little bit, like things are kind of going a little bit haywire out there.
Yeah.
And, the attacks are there, but you know what? There is hope, Heidi.
Yeah.
We have hope, not just in our Lord. Of course we do. But we have hope that there's something good is coming our way. I believe without a shadow of a doubt that we are going to see one of the best times of our history coming our way. Not just here in Clark County, but I'm talking even nationwide. I'm very happy about seeing some of the people that are starting to run. We have people that are godly people that have convictions, people that believe in not just the Lord, but that believe in our country, that America is not dead, America is not wounded, America is moving forward. And I am really, really, really excited, to talk about America, to talk about the hope that we have, because right now is the time for all of us to rise up. To not sit back. I know it'd be easy to shrink back, but I'm not the shrinking back kind.
No, you're not.
And I know you're not the shrinking back kind.
No.
So we don't have time to shrink back. It's time to let our light shine. And we're all gifted in wherever we've been placed. I kind of wanted us to talk a little bit about where are you placed? What are you doing to show forth the light that is in you? Because
everyone has a role to play.
That's right.
Everyone is responsible for the situation that we are finding ourselves in, whether it's a local situation or it's a national race, a federal race, or even the small ones down to the city councils and the library councils. It matters.
It does.
And we need good leadership. The Bible is so clear: when the wicked are in power, the righteous groan.
Boy, and have they been groaning?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! People right now, I go out into the streets and they come up to me and they go, Rey, the crime is off the hook.
Yeah.
We've got this. I mean, I was downtown and a guy came over from Portland. Apparently, he had gotten kicked out of Portland, so he got over here. Came up there off of Main Street, went into one of our wine places, robbed the place.
Oh man!
Then takes off running down and we end up finding him and end up getting into a foot pursuit with him. And he didn't care that he had committed the robbery. It didn't bother him and I'm like, where is this darkness coming from? Well, that's why I really think that we as the light of this area. And there are good people. There's lots of good people here in Clark County, Washington. And I know there's lots of good people that are also throughout the nation right now that are really saying, what can I do? Well, we've got a great idea and some great ideas of what you can do to show forth the light that has been placed in you by God and exactly where you're supposed to be right now. But so No shrinking back today.
No shrinking back. And really, the truth remains is that we've got a leadership crisis in this country. It's the reason I ran for Congress. We desperately need new leadership. And what I think, one of the good things I think is happening right now, I mean, despite skyrocketing inflation and skyrocketing crime, which we're going to continue to talk about, is the fact that the Democrats have really thrown us a football. Right? They're screwing up the country
horribly
from stem to stern. And you got to think that even the Democrats, people that would maybe even traditionally vote Democrat are looking at this going, yeah, this isn't working.
Yeah.
This isn't working.
Do you remember when we talked about about all the different laws that were made here in Washington State?
Yeah, the terrible 12 or whatever you call it. What did you call it?
Something like that. The Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty Dozen, yeah. And honestly, I mean, they've handcuffed the police, for lack of a better word, and people are scared. Like tonight, I'm going to be at a fundraiser for the Crisis Pregnancy Center Pathways, and my youngest daughter is going to be with my mother-in-law, and we found a cute movie. Imagine that. We actually found a good movie. I looked it up on the internet. I checked it out. I did all of my homework. She's going to go see Lyle Crocodile. If that turns out to be a bad movie, all my podcast listeners are going to hear from me because Grandma's taking my 11-year-old to the movies tonight. And I said, hey, there's an opening at 7:30 and my mother-in-law doesn't want to go to the mall. She's afraid.
Well,
she's afraid.
And in
all of my days of living here in Washington State, which is a long time, I've been here for 20 years, I've never felt afraid.
That's right.
To go to the grocery store, to go to the theater. And yet this is a theme we hear spoken over and over again.
And Heidi, this should not have happened.
No.
These laws that they've made here, I think if I'm hearing right, it's the worst in the nation. We're like the
well, we got to be right up there with Chicago. Doesn't Portland have a murder rate that's up 800%?
Higher than Chicago, I've heard.
Yeah.
I was amazed.
Yeah.
And but it's trying to bleed over into our area.
Yeah.
And the amount of these laws that have just shackled your deputies and shackled your police officers, it's just been outrageous. And I go, what in the world were they thinking? Why did these progressives? I mean, sometimes I want to say, well, these Democrats, but you know what? It's not just that, because safety has nothing to do with whether they're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or whatever else. Because everybody, especially here in Clark County, they want to be safe.
Yeah.
But right now, are they? They are not.
No.
They're not safe, and people know this. Those laws completely shackled us. Like I was saying with that one guy that robbed the store. He thought it was okay. That he thought if he could run away, he can get away. Well, this time he didn't do it. He didn't get away. But car chases right now, off the table.
Crazy.
Don't even try to chase a car. That would be the worst. And now our criminals know it.
Yeah.
And almost every other guy for a stolen car with no plates on, we pull up behind it, they take off.
And you can't go after them.
And we can't, and we just pull right over and just stop.
It makes me angry.
It should.
I feel like there has to come a point where the citizens really are being put at risk now, because we have these woke politicians.
Yes.
And they're trying to divide us by the color of our skin. They're trying to divide us by this woke ideology that says, oh, hey, we're just going to let bygones be bygones. And it dismisses the notion of good and evil. And there is such a thing as evil.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it needs to be addressed. It needs to be punished, right?
Did I tell you that story about this one lady? I won't say her name or anything that happened. We were on Main Street in 25th. Her car had broke down, a Prius.
Uh-oh.
Just saying.
Just saying. Just saying.
Her car broke down and she was standing on the corner waiting for the tow truck to come get the car.
But hey, at least the climate's doing better.
Yes it is. And so she can be helpful about that.
Yeah, it's very good.
And so she's thinking, So she's... You're as bad as I am.
I know. That's why we've been friends for a long
time. Exactly. So anyway, so she stands on the corner and all of a sudden this guy walks up behind her. What does he say? Pull up your pants. Well, she's like, she's a well-dressed lady. And she's like, her pants aren't.
Right.
He said, so she ignores him. Me, I would have,
She's in downtown Vancouver?
Yeah, well, yeah, right there on 25th and Main.
Okay.
Yeah, near downtown. Uptown, we call it.
Okay.
Uptown here in our lovely city of Vancouver.
Uptown in the Couve.
Uptown in the Couve. Well, and so she's there, and then he says it again, and he says it again, and he says it a fourth time. And she's like, oh, she turns away. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy, pow, hits her, knocks her down. She hits her knee and just gouges her knee. And then her hand, she uses that to go down, and she ends up putting her hand on some rock, and it was like gouged her hand. She was hurting, and she doesn't think she went out, but I think she did.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's just for no reason. And then he runs down the street, Heidi, knowing that the cops are coming. But before the cops can really do something, even with this enhanced new law that they passed to modify the really bad law,
right?
Officers quickly rush to the scene, and I'm talking to her to get the information so we can get the probable cause to put out to all the guys so they can at least stop this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that. Push comes to shove. We end up catching the guy, take her down there to identify him. She does. But on his way, as he was running, he assaulted 4 more people.
Oh my goodness!
Just no reason.
Yeah.
This is the lawlessness that's kind of going. But do you know what was really caught my attention about this, Heidi? This lady said, "I don't know why he attacked me." I said, I told her, I said, because he's evil.
Yeah. That's right.
And she goes, no.
Yeah, we just can't know.
No, it's not evil. It's not that. It's mental illness.
Right.
And we need to do something. And don't get me wrong.
Well, there is mental illness, but why are we making excuses? Like with some people, murder is actually in the heart of people.
That's right.
And that's evil. It's a wickedness. There is such a thing as good and evil. There is such a thing as male and female. These things exist. They are absolute subjective truths. And as we've moved away from that, now we're just like, or objective truths are. We were looking at everything as subject to what your own interpretation is.
Right.
And it's gotten us to where we are. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So, Ray, we've touched on a little bit, the fact that crime is just rampant. And it's not just here in Clark County.
No,
this is a problem across the United States, wherever the Democrats are in power.
I agree.
And wherever they are implementing
these woke
policies,
yes.
We're finding, the criminals know that they're going to go to jail, but they're going to get right back out again. We're releasing murderers back out onto the streets. All kinds of craziness is happening. And we know that we have a leadership crisis, but there's another side to this coin. One side is crime, which has skyrocketed. The other side is a homeless issue.
Yes.
Where, 20 years ago, I've been in this area a long time. And I guarantee you, you've been here too. 20 years ago, if I would have pitched a tent down there at 117th under the overpass, there would have been an officer there within about 15 minutes saying, "Hey, Heidi, nice to see you. We don't camp here.
Right.
There's a campground. So if you'd like to take your tent and move to the campground, I'd be happy to give you a lift there."
Yep. That's exactly right.
But they would enforce the law.
Right.
And that's not happening anymore. Why is that not happening?
And the reason it's not happening anymore is because that whole failed policies of Seattle. Has anybody been up to Seattle and seen what used to be a beautiful city?
Yep.
Now that it's completely
it's a cesspool
gone.
Now.
It's horrible. And then also the failed policies of Portland. I pray that no one goes down to Portland. For your own safety, don't go. And I don't say that lightly.
No, I grew up in Portland and used to be a beautiful city.
Oh, it was clean.
One of the most livable cities in the entire United States.
And we had so much fun with the parades.
Yes.
But no more.
No more.
No more.
No.
But and see all of that, those failed policies, those woke policies, they're now being brought up here. So that now that we have to sit and then they're bringing in all these services. And so now they're attracting a lot of the homeless from all over the country are now coming to Vancouver, Washington, and Clark County, Washington. Why is that? These policies that they're bringing do not help the homeless. That's the problem. People just say homeless, and then they think, oh, my goodness. No, the nice thing that I like to do is I actually know, because I work it, I'm the boots on the ground guy. I work it. I see who the homeless are, and I don't look at them as that. Because I know them by name. I know this is John over here. I know this is Eric. I know this is Tom. I know these people by name on a first name basis. I call them Tom and they call me Officer Reynolds. It's a wonderful relationship.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we have a relationship. And then I get to know who these folks are. And Heidi, I told you before and I'll say it again, there's at least 3 different types of people that are living on the streets. First of all, it's just the acutely homeless. Like this wonderful family that we helped. They were a wonderful family. They just got thrown out of their apartment, literally because of the rising price of these apartments. It's just too much.
Yeah,
it's too much. And so next thing you know, wham, they're on the street. But they didn't want to be there. They're acutely homeless. You hear what I'm saying? those folks we can help. And those are the people that we want to bring in the community.
That's right.
We want to bring in everyone.
And
we
there
want
are
to bring
lots
in
of organizations,
Yes.
churches that stand at the ready
Yes, they
to
do.
assist, whether it's money or maybe it's someone they know from their church that can give them shelter until they find something that they can afford. We're not without resources
No.
for the acutely
Oh my
homeless.
goodness, Heidi, we have the resources to help a huge number of people. And not only that, and it's a wonderful thing because then we can utilize everyone, even using using the neutrality test. We can not only use secular organizations, but we can use, faith-based organizations too, all coming together to help solve the acutely homeless problem. And guess what happens? When we bring them all together, I call it the net.
Yep.
And we bring them all together, that works magnificently. And we've had, this family was on the streets within 48 hours. 48 hours. They were off the street and were into a hotel where many, many people were coming in there interviewing about any addiction issues, mental health issues, figuring out their budget issues, just to get them going. And guess what happened? They have permanent housing now.
Yeah.
That's how we can. And so that's what we, as a compassionate people,
because it's
can
not
do.
compassion to let these people live in squalor. And we've seen so much drug abuse,
Tell me about it.
prostitution, sex trafficking. All these things are happening in these so-called homeless camps.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
To emphasize what you just said, we had a lady, I won't say her name. She was living in this tent, but we knew that their guys were raping her, probably nightly. So what did she do? She decided to invite some guy into her tent that was not as violent as the people, so he would protect her from these other rapists, even though he was raping her.
Wow.
This is happening in these camps. How is that compassionate? Heidi, that's not compassion by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's like a petri dish for wickedness.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And
so
it breeds.
So you said there's three kinds. There's the acutely homeless.
And then there's the chronic.
Yes.
Now, the chronic homeless are the people that you see out there that are there all the time.
This is a lot of mental illness.
And there's mental illness involved in there. Addiction is involved there. And there's no real desire and no real impetus to come out of their situation.
Right.
They're chronically homeless.
They don't mind living on the street.
Many times they want to live on the street. But they do want to take the handouts. But they don't want you to say you can't live on the street. You can't litter.
Or you need to get clean. We're going to help you get clean.
Yeah.
Stop leaving your trash all over the place because that's a major problem.
It's huge.
Yeah.
If you look up on the side of the road as you're
Awful.
driving down the highway, and you look up on the hill and there's all this filth coming down.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
Weren't there? There was a encampment that the police recently busted up on right by Mill Plain. Behind there's a hotel by Elmer's Restaurant up there.
205.
Yes. And
That
I
was
heard
huge.
there were rats there, right?
Oh, it was beyond hideous.
Yeah.
Rats. That's one of the main reasons it got closed down was because of the health issue. Not because people wanted the camp to go away, but because the issue of health had gone so bad that vermin were multiplying at such a horrible level.
That's
it
crazy.
had to take. So they ended up closing the camp down, putting out a huge number of traps, and it was just a terrible, very ugly situation. And that was one of the most violent places we had here in Vancouver, Clark County.
It's so sad. And I would imagine in the 2 minutes that we have left for this segment, there are people listening to this all across the country that are as frustrated as I am. Here you are. You're just, you love Clark County, Washington.
That's
right.
You
love it as much as I do. And we recognize that we have a crisis in leadership.
We do.
Why would you put your reputation on the line, put your family through what I know because I just ran for a district-wide seat. And it's a blood sport. It's brutal.
I have never seen such incredible brutality.
Yeah.
And that's the right word. Falsehoods.
Yeah.
The ability to lie and to twist people's words to do what? Just to besmirch the character of the other candidate.
And people have a hard time seeing through it because
it's tough.
You can get radio hosts that are less than honest. There's all kinds of things that happen where bad news gets out, but you've got a message of hope.
And that's what we want.
Yeah.
I mean, even like we're finishing, I'll finish quickly about the homeless thing. There's that last crew that we're talking about.
This is the criminally homeless.
The criminal homeless.
Yeah.
what do we do about those people?
Yeah.
Do we just sit there and let it happen? No.
Yeah.
We need to have leadership. Remember you said we have a crisis in leadership?
Yep.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Here in Clark County, we have a crisis in leadership. There has been no leadership. Where things have just been allowed to get, but Heidi, here in Clark County, we have the least staffed sheriff's office in the country. How did this happen?
Well, didn't the city council just take the jail away from the sheriff?
Oh my goodness!
What in the ever?
Oh,
don't
now look what you did, Heidi.
Hey, you can't even jump into that because we're out of time. We'll have to do it.
We have to get this in.
We're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do it tomorrow. We got huge issues.
Yes,
and
we do.
they're not going to change unless we band together and decide we're going to send new leadership.
Yes,
proven leadership. Godly leadership, people of character, because character actually matters. So forget what the newspaper is saying. Forget what you read on the internet. You've made yourself very, very, very available. I want to end really quickly. We don't have time. We'll jump into this tomorrow also. Why does it matter? This is a big question. So I just want you to give people a little bit of a snippet for what they'll hear tomorrow. Why does it matter that people across the country who are listening to this, obviously I care about it because I live here and you're running to represent me. Why does the role of sheriff matter so much?
Well, the role of sheriff matters so much because the sheriff is the top law enforcement official in the county. And the sheriff answers only to one person. And who is that? The voter. The sheriff answers to the voter. He doesn't answer to the county council. He doesn't answer to the state representatives or the Senate or the governor.
Which takes the inward politicization, which is what always happens, pressure away from the sheriff so that you can do what's right for the people without fear of reprisal from inside of a department, correct?
That's correct. Now your sheriff becomes your protector of your constitutional rights. Those things that are inalienable, those things that are God-given, those things that are important to the very fabric of our country.
Yeah.
I am very excited about that. So tomorrow we're going to talk about why character matters.
Ooh, wow. So good. Thank you for coming by today. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say tomorrow. It's going to be excellent. Where can people find you online and how can they support your run for sheriff?
Heidi, I would love for everybody to get in touch with me. Go to Rey Reynolds. That's REY.
Yeah.
.com. ReyReynolds.com. Go to my webpage. Look at what I have to say about the issues of today. Look at what I have to say about what I'm not going to propose, but what I'm doing as we speak. Look at those things and come to my aid. I need your support. We need your prayers first, and then we need your financial giftings would be fantastic. We're running against a very wealthy campaign, and we're well behind, but we have something that the other campaign doesn't, and that is hope.
That's exactly right. Rey Reynolds, you are a local treasure, and I know all the people who are listening to this are going to think like I do that you are also a national treasure. Thank you for coming on. I'll see you here tomorrow.
Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for
coming. See y'all.
For more information on my friend Rey Reynolds and his run for sheriff, you can go to HeidiSt.John.com/podcast, scroll down and check out the show notes. I also want to encourage you that I am in the second week right now of a study that I am doing on what it means to be the Imago Dei, created in the image of God. You are created, known, and loved. God loves you. He has a plan for your life, and you're going to love this study. It's phenomenal. I teach it on Tuesdays, and you can come and join that live with me. I'll take your questions, and we're going to be talking about why it matters that we know who we are in Christ, because having a creator changes everything. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you back here with Rey again tomorrow at the intersection of faith and culture.